Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Dylan here. We have a major update about former Vice President Mike Pence, aka Judas, and we are exposing the truth about Mike Pence today. So we are in for a treat of a video. Now, before we dive in, we're going to read scripture and pray because God comes first. Amen? Comment the word amen in the comment section if you believe that God comes first in your life. And without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. Amen. That's from Hebrews 11:6. And let's pray that all of us continue to seek God, even in the most difficult moments in our life. And my brothers and sisters, congratulations to everyone who has begun investing in the stock market under President Trump. The stock market has been absolutely soaring under the leadership of Donald Trump. We now have a totally free offer linked below, or if you're watching this on your TV, you can take out your phone and scan this QR code. And I also created a free investing tutorial for you to watch as well. And don't worry, you don't need a lot of money to get started. You could literally get started with just a couple bucks. Okay, my friends, so we have a major update here from Dr. Steve Turley. Make sure to check him out, but let's tune in. This is him on Mike Pence and all the updates here.
For months now, we've been told that Trump's popularity is dying. The MAGA movement is over. We were told that the Trump coalition, the very coalition that gave Trump the biggest landslide win for Republican in over a generation, was dead, gone, buried, with no chance of coming back. That's certainly what 8 Republican Indiana state senators thought when they decided to betray President Trump and the MAGA movement several months back by voting with Democrats to keep Democrat districts in their state. Trump was furious, and he promised retribution. Yesterday was the day of Trump's wrath, and the results are absolutely terrifying every single milquetoast Republican politician in the nation. Stick with me to the very end of this video because we're going to see what this Indiana election means for the entire Republican Party and for the future of Congress itself.
All right, guys, let's get into the details on Pence.
All right, gang, so yeah, you did it again. You, the MAGA patriots, particularly in the great state of Indiana, you did it again. You proved the experts, the so-called experts, wrong. What happened yesterday was not supposed to happen. I absolutely assure you that what happened yesterday was the last possible outcome that these 8 rhinos, right, Republicans in name only, these 8 rhino state senators who backstabbed President Trump and betrayed their own voters mere months ago, what happened yesterday was the last possible outcome they could have ever imagined in their worst nightmares. Their political advisors, their pathetic, overpaid, establishment-endorsed political advisors assured them that if they betrayed Trump, there would be zero political repercussions. The Democrats are going to win control of the House. It's inevitable. Maybe they'll even win the Senate. Trump will officially be a lame duck, and you'll still have your Indiana Senate seat long after he's gone. That is what they thought would happen yesterday. But you, the patriots of America, you, the tip of the spear of the MAGA movement, you had other plans for these feckless, betraying rhinos. You made your voice heard yesterday, and now every single Republican politician just heard what you had to say loud and clear. So let's set the stage here, shall we? Back in December of 2025, President Trump pushed hard for Indiana Republicans to join the redistricting fight together with states like Texas, Missouri, and North Carolina to redraw the state's congressional map in a way that would have created 2 additional Republican-leaning seats in the House of Representatives. 2 seats in a chamber where the GOP majority is currently hanging by a thread. So this wasn't a vanity project. This was a strategic imperative. Trump recognizes that the key to maintaining perpetual power in Congress involves getting rid of all of these Democrat seats in deep red states, obliterate those seats, and will control Congress for the foreseeable future. It's a pure numbers game, and red states got the numbers. It all seems simple enough, And so when the new map came up for a vote in the Republican-dominated Indiana Senate, what did 21 Republican state senators do? They voted with the Democrats to kill the redistricting map that would have helped us maintain a perpetual majority of 218 plus in Congress. I want you to get that. 21 Republican state senators voted with the Democrats. The vote was 31-19 to reject the redistricting map that would have helped maintain a perpetual Republican-dominated Congress for the foreseeable future. Why did they do it? One man, this guy, Mike Pence, the single biggest disappointment in modern American politics. These Indiana state senators decided that they would side with their one-time governor, and they would side with the Mike Pence wing of the party, the neocon rhino wing that hates MAGA, that hates populists, that hates the working class, that hates the fact that Trump stole the party from them. And, of course, they hate JD, and most especially, they hate you. Needless to say, after these Republicans joined with the Democrats to defeat the redistricting map, Trump did not take the news of that very well. He went on Truth Social, and he made it very clear. He warned, it was ominous to these senators, I'm coming for you.
Wow.
Just like he did with Liz Cheney, just like he did with Adam Klein Kinzinger, just like he did with MTG, just like he's doing right now with Massey. Cross me, and I will come for your seats. And yesterday, May 5th, was the day of reckoning for 8 of these senators who were up for re-election in their primaries, and it was an absolute bloodbath. When Indiana primary voters showed up to the polls, they delivered what one commentator called a flat-out wipeout.
Wow.
Travis Holdman, one of the most vile of these anti-Trump rhinos from District 19, gone. Jim Buck, District 21, gone. Greg Walker, District 41, gone.
Wow.
Linda Rogers, District 11, gone. Dan Durnall, District 1, gone.
Wow.
And many of them were defeated by massive margins. Or in fact, in that District 11 race, the Trump-endorsed challenger beat him with 73% of the vote. 73%. These are Liz Cheney margins.
Huh.
As the smoke cleared, 6 of the 8 turncoat Republican senators were defeated soundly. One is going through a recount because it's that close. It's literally within a few votes. And one seems to have squeaked by. It was an absolutely astonishing display of political power that has reverberations that go way beyond Indiana. And that is what we're going to find out next.
He's the boss of the party. I think Alyssa stated it very well. He calls the shots in the Republican Party, and if you go against that, he will pour his wrath out upon you, and it doesn't typically turn out well. As Harry Enton has said before, go against Trump in a primary, and you wind up in the grinder, and that's what happened in Indiana. To me, what I was looking for tonight was the forward-looking lessons here. For instance, what's going to happen in Kentucky in a couple of weeks in that 4th congressional district where Thomas Massey is the one congressional Republican who has been the biggest thorn in Donald Trump's side. They have poured millions into that race, and a lot of people are wondering, could he withstand a challenge from a Trump-backed challenger there? If you look at what happened in Indiana tonight, and you're Thomas Massey tonight, or you're anybody else in a primary right now where Trump's on the other side of you, you got to be thinking, this is a bad night for me. But bottom line is, there's always plenty of money in politics, and it's always the president's priorities and prerogatives that call the shots in his or her political party, and here we are.
That's the one and only Scott Jennings. He says it perfectly. Trump is the boss of the party. That's absolutely key. This is why Thomas Massey has to go. He needs to get fired for his incessant and constant and never-ending attempts at thwarting the boss's agenda. This is why MTG had to go. This is why, frankly, Tucker has to go. In fact, I wouldn't even say Trump is the boss. I'd say he's the general. He's the commander-in-chief. We're in a very real political war. We're fighting against a rabid left-wing lunatic party that did everything they could to put Trump behind bars for the rest of his life. Unfortunately, I think those 8 rhino neocons in Indiana agreed with that. They wanted Trump gone. That's why they voted with the Democrats. When we have opportunities to take the Democrats out through redistricting and Trump gives the order and says, go do it, take them out, you, oh lowly little state senator, you don't get to second guess the commanding general. And virtually every one of these pathetic, weak, compromised, backstabbing rhinos in Indiana learned that lesson the hard way last night. Now, make no mistake. What happened yesterday was absolutely key to getting virtually all red states to redistrict before 2026. Right now, according to Crystal Ball's forecasting, the Republicans have a solid 211 seats, while the Democrats are down to 209. Now, that includes, as I understand it, that includes Florida's new +4 seat map that DeSantis just signed into law, but it does not include the +4 Democrat seats in Virginia because that's currently being blocked by the court. So at this point, the Republicans just need 7 more seats, and they've got a solid 218 safe red seats going into the midterms. And we're about to get 2 from Louisiana's court-mandated redistricting, 1 or 2 possibly from Mississippi.
Yeah, all of this stuff is looking really, really good for our country right now, my friends. And, you know, it's so crazy because now Mike Pence went on MS Now to talk trash on Donald Trump. I mean, it's insane. Like, look at what he did. He's going on MS Now. This is crazy, guys. Take a listen.
Welcome back. I sat down yesterday with former Vice President Mike Pence for an exclusive, wide-ranging interview where we touched on everything from the war with Iran to the current state of the Trump administration and, of course, the future of the Republican Party. I want to play for you what the former vice president told me about his replacement in the White House, his successor. Watch. When it comes to your successor, has he ever called you as the only other person who understands innately what it is to be Donald Trump's vice president?
You know, we haven't ever spoken.
You've never spoken to the person who's the only other Trump vice president?
Look, people change their views. I remember the vice president was a pretty strong critic of our administration during our 4 years.
So you're going on MS Now, which was formerly MSNBC with Rachel Maddow. Dude, come on. Why are you still talking? Shut up, bro.
And showed up a lot more on your network than a lot of other Republicans.
And we welcome everyone.
I don't begrudge him that. I don't. People change their opinions, and he's changed his views. When I look at 2028, I think it's going to be more important to focus on what we're for before we focus on who we're for.
What the hell does that even mean, dude? What are you talking? You trying to promote more books or what?
Joining me here to unpack this interview at the table, MS Now senior Washington reporter and co-host of The Weekend, Eugene Daniels. I thought that this interview was fascinating. And in conversations about the future of the Republican Party, we've got a whole piece on that with a ton of news ready to go for next week. But when it came to the news of the day, watching him effectively zing his successor, who I think it is shocking that Vance has never called the only other person who has served as vice president to the president. Wild. But the other piece of it is... Yeah,
Mike Pence has never spoken to J.D. Vance. That says a lot. Mike Pence never even reached out to J.D. Vance. Give me a break.
I give Republicans in Congress and the president great credit for extending those tax cuts in full. I think had they not done that, had those taxes gone up while tariffs were going up, I think our economy would be struggling even more than it is today.
Do you see an economy that's struggling right now?
I think the economy has been impacted by the uncertainty around the president's broad-based tariffs.
Oh my God, dude! I'm sorry, guys. The audio, for whatever reason, sucks. MS Now, I guess maybe they lost their budget because they're not with NBC anymore. They can't get a decent microphone. But Mike Pence is coming on here to talk trash on Trump's tariffs. He's blaming Trump for the economy, which, by the way, the stock market has been soaring lately. All you guys who have been investing, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But look at Mike Pence. Mike Pence says he came to the conclusion he should part ways with Trump. No kidding, dude. No kidding. I mean, we really just avoided a nightmare, but it's like we can really see that America has shifted in a new direction away from Mike Pence. There's a reason why Donald Trump won and why our country is thriving right now. The economy is really booming. President Trump even has a message for us all. So take a listen, guys.
You better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up. This is going to be numbers that nobody's ever seen before. rising market will do. Oh, it's going to get a lot higher.
How amazing is that, my friends? The stock market is soaring under President Trump. If you want to learn how to begin investing, we have a totally free offer right now. You can click the link below, or if you're watching this on your TV, you can take out your phone and scan that QR code. Just download the app. It's totally free to get started. It's never too late, and who knows, maybe you can even learn so you can help your children or your grandchildren as well. Personally, I started investing, and now my investments are up over $60,000. One of you guys even messaged me saying that you're up over $13,000. I believe this is the best time to start investing while Trump is president because he's the best leader and the stock market has been hitting record numbers under his leadership. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. Take it as your sign. It's totally free and I break it down easy for you. I even have a free tutorial that I created just for you. It's all in the description box or pinned in the comments. All right, so President Trump just came out to address the nation. Let's tune in.
I thought we'd be down maybe 20%, and we're up. The stock market's higher now than when we started this war. And I thought oil prices would go to $200, $250. It's at $100 now. And I think you're surprised, and I'm surprised. But even if it went to 200, it would have been worth it. I understood that. We had just set a record.
How amazing is that, my friends? The stock market is soaring under President Trump. If you want to learn how to begin investing, we have a totally free offer right now. You can click the link below, or if you're watching this on your TV, you can take out your phone and scan that QR code. Just download the app. It's totally free to get started. It's never too late, and who knows, maybe you can even learn so you can help your children or your grandchildren as well. Personally, I started investing, and now my investments are up over $60,000. One of you guys even messaged me saying that you're up over $13,000. I believe this is the best time to start investing while Trump is president because he's the best leader and the stock market has been hitting record numbers under his leadership. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. Take it as your sign. It's totally free and I break it down easy for you. I even have a free tutorial that I created just for you. It's all in the description box or pinned in the comments. And then look at Mike Pence here. America will have better choices than Donald Trump. He's literally coming on here and he's talking trash on Donald Trump. And, oh yeah, I've never talked to JD Vance. No, duh, JD Vance doesn't want to talk to you, bro. And then look at what Mike Pence has to say right here. This is a disgrace to me.
The war raging in Ukraine. With regard to entitlements, Howie, Donald Trump's position is identical to Joe Biden's. Neither one of them even want to talk about what's mostly driving, reforming programs that are driving our national debt and really threaten the vitality of our economy in the future. And on the subject of the right to life, look, we were the most pro-life administration in history. But since we left office, Donald Trump has actually blamed election losses in 2022 on overturning Roe versus Wade. And he, like others, is trying to relegate the question of abortion to states only.
You've called for a federal abortion ban. 15 weeks would be a good starting point, you say, 15 weeks of pregnancy. But given how strongly you feel as a matter of faith, is that a big compromise for you rather than something stricter?
Well, let me take issue with a premise in your question.
Go ahead.
If you can. I mean, the Donald Trump actually blamed losses in the midterm elections on us overturning Roe versus Wade. You know, when I look at the midterm elections, it was the candidates that were focused.
So why is Mike Pence talking trash on Trump? I just don't get it.
You say that you don't think President Trump has changed the entire Republican Party. What do you mean by that? Because a lot of people think he has, in fact.
Well, look, there's no question that President Trump has changed the agenda of the Republican Party in some respects, in terms of America's role as leader of the free world.
Is he trying to gear up for another presidential run? I mean, maybe he's trying to sell more books. We're going to expose the truth hard, and we are not holding back this time.
Well, President Trump is en route to Air Force One, where he is set to fly to the dignified transfer of the 6 lost Americans in Kuwait. We just heard from him where he said the only way to defeat adversaries is to unleash the power of the American military. And I'm joined now by former Vice President Mike Pence. You know, Vice President Mike Pence, so great to have you here today. I was paying attention.
Kayleigh, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Some of the things you said this week, history will record that President Trump made the right call. And you said you wanted to commend him for having the guts to pull the trigger on this, and you cannot say you were surprised. How did you make that assessment?
Well, but look, it's remarkable. It's been 1 week since Operation Epic Fury began, but the truth is this war began 47 years ago. When the new Iranian regime held American hostages for 400 days. A few years after that, took the lives of 240 service members. And all those years, one administration after another has essentially been fighting the tentacles of the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism. But because of the decisive leadership of President Trump as commander-in-chief, we're now taking the fight directly to the heart of global terrorism. And as I said, I was not surprised by it. I was at his side when he made the decision to strike directly at Iran, taking out...
Do you see Mike Pence is trying to now take credit for what Trump is doing with Iran? He was like, I was standing there by his side. Yeah, I don't think Trump was listening to you or taking your advice, Mike Pence, with all due respect. And you don't even owe any respect.
Qasem Soleimani in early 2020. But look, I want to give the president all the credit in the world for making that decision. I also really have to tell you, I just couldn't be more proud of the men and women of our armed forces that did the planning, but most importantly, the people that are executing Operation Epic Fury. It has been a nearly flawless execution. I mean, we grieve the loss of lives that the president will be the soldiers he'll be welcoming home today with the First Lady at his side. But it's been an extraordinary effort and operation. I heard one naval aviator said in the midst of it that he felt that he was, quote, surrounded by greatness. And from what we see from afar in the last week, I just couldn't be more proud of the armed forces of the United States, or frankly, the commander-in-chief that set them into motion to bring to an end nearly 5 decades of war against the United States, against our cherished ally Israel, that's threatened the world. And I pray that we see this through all the way to the end.
Yeah, you and me both. And I'm curious on the timing, because this notably took place in the second Trump administration and not the first. Why do you think this was the right time to strike?
Well, look, when we came into office in early 2017, we followed an administration that had literally shipped pallets of cash to the mullahs in Tehran. And the Iran nuclear deal was a complete disaster. And very early on, the president made it clear that we'd be getting out of the Iran nuclear deal. We did. We imposed what came to be known as a maximum pressure campaign. We took the fight, unleashed our military against ISIS that was encouraged and supported by the Iranian regime, took down their leadership and their caliphate. But when the president made the decision to direct our forces to take out Qasem Soleimani, he took an extraordinary step that was reflective of our desire to put unprecedented pressure on that regime.
So why do you think Mike Pence all of a sudden is coming out and supporting Trump for doing this? He's trying to take credit, and he's also trying to build up his name. He's trying to get more fame, and he's trying to use this this whole situation as a way for him to generate more income. That's what I truly think.
When we left office, I can tell you, Iran was more isolated economically, diplomatically, and militarily than ever before. Unfortunately, Kayleigh, as you know, that was all squandered by the Biden administration that immediately went back to the table, begging to restart the Iran nuclear deal. The Iranians wouldn't even talk to us. They made the Biden administration work through Russia to try and get that deal started again. And all the while, Iran reconstituted its nuclear program, built up its ballistic missile program, and the ensuing violence that we've seen, not just in the region, but I believe that the weakness of the Biden administration emboldened Russia to attack Ukraine, emboldened Iran through its surrogate Hamas to launch the October 7th attack, the worst attack on the Jewish people since the Holocaust. And so right now what we're seeing is not only an effort by the United States military, our ally Israel, and other allies in the region to degrade the military and security capabilities of Iran so it doesn't threaten our country or even its own people, so that they might reclaim their freedom. But also, I think, Kayleigh, what the president is doing here with the military might of the United States is restoring the deterrence that was squandered during the Biden administration, and demonstrating that America remains the arsenal of democracy and the leader of the free world.
Good job, Mike Pence. You just regurgitated the most basic argument that anybody could say. And all of a sudden you're coming on to bring in insight. I'm not buying it. And I think there's something deeper going on here, which we will be diving into in a moment. But first, I wanted to take a listen to what President Trump is saying about what's going on in the U.S. economy. Heritage Foundation scholars jump to Mike Pence's group in reorganization for the conservative movement. Mike Pence is slowly behind the scenes trying to reorganize the conservative movement. He created this new group called Reorganization of the Conservative Movement. Take a look at this. Leaders of Advancing American Freedom, the nonprofit led by Mike Pence. Firstly, I don't trust nonprofits at all. I don't care what you say. Nonprofits, for they don't make a profit, but their executives are making absurd amount of money. Mike Pence, look at this. AAF President Tim Chapman described the organization's addition of Heritage Foundation's Legal Data and Economic Center a move that doubles its size as a reorganization of the conservative movement. Oh no, so the nonprofit is called Advancing American Freedom. These like vague names which have been exposed a lot in the government, like they get funding by the government, and then a lot of times like they really don't do much with whatever they're doing. So Elon Musk actually exposed the truth about this, and I think it is very telling of what Mike Pence is doing here. Take a look.
Yes, it basically, the government-funded NGOs are a way to do things that would be illegal if they were the government, but are somehow made legal if it's sent to a so-called nonprofit. But these nonprofits are then used to, people cash out these nonprofits. They become very wealthy through nonprofits. They pay themselves enormous sums through these nonprofits.
It's so insane that that's been going on for so long.
It's a gigantic scam, like one of the biggest, maybe the biggest scam ever.
And how many NGOs?
I think there's a total number of NGOs, probably millions, but in terms of large NGOs, tens of thousands. I mean, it's actually kind of a hack to the system where someone can get an NGO stood up for a fairly small amount of money. Like George Soros is really good at this. Like George Soros is like a system hacker. Like he figured out how to hack the system. He's a genius at arbitrage. I mean, these days he's pretty old, but a genius at arbitrage. So he figured out that you could leverage a small amount of money to create a nonprofit, then lobby the politicians to send a ton of money to that nonprofit, so you can take what might be, a $10 million donation to a nonprofit to create a nonprofit and leverage that into $1 billion NGO. And a nonprofit is a weird word. It's just a non-governmental organization, and then the government continues to fund that every year, and it'll have a nice sounding name, like the Institute for Peace or something like that.
And what is Mike Pence's group called? Advancing American Freedom. This is the nonprofit that he got. How much funding has Advancing American Freedom got? So I'm just doing some research here. Advancing American Freedom, the nonprofit advocacy organization founded by former Vice President Mike Pence in 2021. Notice the time. He created it shortly after Trump lost in 2020. Well, 2021. He barely waited at all. This dude is so freaking money hungry. As soon as he leaves office, he starts a nonprofit. So it receives its funding primarily from private donations, including contributions from individuals, foundations, and conservative-aligned groups. There is no publicly available evidence that it has received any government funding, such as federal grants or taxpayer money. So it has mostly private donors and grants. Known contributions include over $1.5 million from Leonard Leo's Concord Fund. So then you gotta go down the rabbit hole. What is Leonard Who's Leonard Leo's Concord Fund, right? They donated to Mike Pence's group. So now we have to look, where did Leonard Leo get their money? The Concord Fund is a conservative dark money nonprofit closely associated with Leonard Leo, formerly known as the Judicial Crisis Network, receives its funding primarily from private donors and other nonprofit entities in the conservative network. Publicly available information, including IRS Form 990 filings and investigative reports, show no evidence that it has received any government funding such as federal grants, contracts, or assistance from agencies like USAID. So then you have to look down another rabbit hole. The Concord Fund, they get their money from private donors and other nonprofit entities. So you guys see where I'm headed with this? Mike Pence's group is getting private donations from another nonprofit that gets donations from another nonprofit. Where is this money going? This is why we need people like Elon Musk. I'm actually kind of upset that Elon Musk is like not in Doge anymore, because look, I personally can't prove, I don't have the resources to go down the rabbit hole to see where is this money actually coming from. But what I can show you is that Mike Pence has made more than $7 million since 2022. Former Vice President Mike Pence made more than $7 million since 2022, buoyed by $3.4 million in speaking fees, more than $1.4 million for a book advance. How much money is he receiving from this nonprofit? So I'm looking it up. The Advancing American Freedom reported around $9 million in revenue in 2023, with growth to higher figures in 2024 to 2025. This supports program activities, staff hires, including recent additions from the Heritage Foundation. So the Heritage Foundation, this is really weird. A rift in MAGA has top Heritage Foundation officials leaving to join with Mike Pence. So people in the Heritage Foundation, top officials, are leaving to join with Mike Pence, probably because they're getting paid a boatload of money. Look, if you work at a nonprofit and you leave to go to another nonprofit, it's not because you like what the other nonprofit is doing. Most likely it's because you're getting offered a higher salary. Advancing American Freedom is pulling in millions and millions of dollars. More than a dozen staff members at the influential conservative think tank, the Heritage Foundation, are leaving the organization to join a group founded by former Vice President Mike Pence. By the way, I think think tanks are so strange. The Heritage Foundation. The mass departure follows turmoil within Heritage and the larger conservative movement over the role of right-wing influencers who have promoted anti-Semitic and other extremist ideas. Those tensions were on display at Heritage after its president, Kevin Roberts, released a video defending Tucker Carlson for a friendly interview in October with Nick Fuentes. So, this is strange. The Heritage Foundation's president, Kevin Roberts, defended Tucker Carlson doing an interview with Nick Fuentes. Okay, you don't have to be a fan of Tucker Carlson or Nick Fuentes, but you can defend that they had a conversation, right? I mean, what world am I living on where I think people should be able to have conversations? Isn't that what America's all about? And you're the Heritage Foundation, you're advancing American freedom, so you want to say, oh, those people shouldn't be able to talk, but now I want to go to work for advancing American freedom. Well, last time I checked, American freedom means being able to have open debate, open discussion. I don't think Tucker Carlson agreed with a lot of what Nick Fuentes said if you watched the interview, but they were able to have a discussion. What, are you going to get mad at Charlie Kirk for having a discussion with these libs that you don't agree with them? I mean, come on. In a statement, Pence welcomed the new hires, say they bring a wealth of experience, a love of country, and a deep commitment to the Constitution and conservative movement that will further the cause of liberty. Look at this. Advancing American Freedom raised $13 million toward a $15 million goal in 2 weeks to help fund their salaries over the next 3 years. This just screams fishiness. $15 million in 2 weeks for salaries for a nonprofit? Look, they're not getting any government funding that I can see. They're getting funded from other nonprofits. That's getting funded from other nonprofits. Look, I'm not sure, but if I would have to bet money on it, there's probably government funding somewhere happening in this big web. I think people should look into Mike Pence's group.
But really, it's a graft machine.
And what are the requirements with that money? What do they have to do?
Just really no requirements at all.
So they just get grants and the government just assumes that they're doing good work.
I think a lot of people in the government know that they're not doing good work, but it's a giant graft machine. I mean,
surely
people online are like unpacking this,
right?
Yep, people like me. I'm trying to unpack it. I'm doing my best. Okay, I'm just a dude sitting in his studio. I don't have any resources here. If I had an assistant, I would say, hey, go spend the next day looking at this stuff, but I just don't. I need you guys to do it for me. You guys are all my assistants. This is super strange. Mike Pence is trying to push Trump to oust RFK Jr. now. Look at this. Former Vice President Mike Pence's organization said Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. must go. Accusing the secretary of refusing to review the abortion pill mifepristone. In a statement posted on the social platform X, Pence's nonprofit, Advancing American Freedom, said, RFK Jr. continues to refuse to review the dangerous chemical abortion bill mifepristone. Despite the calls of state attorneys general across the country, pro-life promises made to Congress, RFK Jr. has followed in the footsteps of Obama and Biden. RFK Jr. must go. Pence had opposed RFK Jr. from the beginning, attacking him for being too pro-abortion. Look at this. Mike Pence is calling on RFK Jr. to resign. He is not happy with Kennedy's performance. Kennedy should step aside and give President Trump the opportunity to select a new secretary who will deliver pro-life results for the American people. Yeah, Mike Pence, just continue to tell Trump what to do. I'm sure he wants to hear from you. I'm sure of it. This is going a little bit viral online. Mike Pence sharing this, America stands with Israel. I don't know if you guys know this, but Mike Pence went to Israel. It was kind of weird, like he's meeting up with these people almost like he was like representing the United States. Like, I don't know, it's like people know that he obviously isn't part of the administration anymore, so why is he meeting with leaders there? Like this one here really caught me in a strange way. Mike Pence posted this, traveled to Israel's Northern Command to meet with military leaders and join IDF soldiers stationed near Israel's border with Lebanon. Ever since October 7th, these courageous Israelis, several of whom are also American citizens, left families and home to stand strong for Israel. God bless them all. It's like, why is Mike Pence, who clearly Trump is not even speaking to, like, why is he going to meet with Israeli soldiers, basically like on behalf of America, but it's like this dude has no power, you know? Look at this. This is like official like meetings. It's like, why is Pence there, dude? It's like so strange. Like, what are you doing, bro? It's like you're giving advice to Israel and to the IDF, to the soldiers. Like, it's like, are you just delusional? Like, you think that they think that like, look at this. It's like Israel and America flag. This is like a total USA and Israeli meeting, and they're bringing Mike Pence to represent America. But like, Mike Pence is not arrived in Israel today to see he's like kneeling down at a grave. Doesn't this whole thing just seem fishy? Wow, I can't believe it. Mike Pence has now released another book with Simon & Schuster. Simon & Schuster was the same group that paid Pence millions of dollars to, or at least $1 million to make that book, So Help Me God, that trashed Trump in it. So now yeah, look at this. This was the one, So Help Me God. So now Mike Pence had another book called Go Home for Dinner, advice on how faith and family makes a life. So strange. Yeah, look at this. So Simon & Schuster paid Mike Pence a reported $1.4 million advance for his memoir, So Help Me God. Initial reports in 2021, when the two-book deal was announced, described it as a multi-million-dollar agreement, often cited as $3 to $4 million total for both books. Some sources calling it a 7-figure deal. However, the confirmed advance for the first and only released book was $1.4 million. The second book under the deal is called Go Home for Dinner. Does not appear to have a publicly disclosed advance amount. This is so strange. Like, why is Simon & Schuster funding Mike Pence's books, paying him millions of dollars? Like, something weird going on. Now, President Trump just came out to address the nation. Let's listen in.
The markets are going to boom, the stock is going to boom, the country is going to boom, and the rest of the world wants to see, is there any way they can make a deal? They've taken advantage of us for many, many years. For many years, we've been at the wrong side of the ball, and I'll tell you what, I think it's going to be unbelievable. The thing that people have to talk about, we're up almost to $7 trillion of investment coming into our country, and you'll see how it's going to turn out. Our country's going to boom.
President Trump says our country and the market is going to boom. How amazing is that, my friends? If you want to learn how to begin investing, we have a totally free offer right now. You can click the link below, or if you're watching this on your TV, you can take out your phone and scan that QR code. Just download the app. It's totally free to get started. It's never too late, and who knows, maybe you can even learn so you can help your children or your grandchildren as well. Personally, I started investing, and now my investments are up over $60,000. One of you guys even messaged me saying that you're up over $13,000. I believe this is the best time to start investing while Trump is president, because he's the best leader, and the stock market has been hitting record numbers under his leadership. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. Take it as your sign. It's totally free, and I break it down easy for you. I even have a free tutorial that I created just for you. It's all in the description box or pinned in the comments.